Today we test a completely new RL set for you. We have a board shape which is already known and was tested with a length of 1,38 and a width of 46,5. The board consists of carbon fiber as material at the bottom of the board with a silk, matte covering added with a film of graphic arts resulting in a really beautiful optic. Everything is very robust because of a protecting surrounding frame out of synthetic material. We find a classical bidirectional construction we also have in snowboarding. The board is equipped with an EVA full deck at the rear and front foot and usable with 2 or 3 straps for the feet. These can be adjusted with double Velcro ending the size sufficiently, in order to come in also with colder temperatures with thicker shoes and to have nevertheless a firm seat. You can choose whether you prefer the windsurfer order with the 2 diagonal loops or the parallel order with 2 single loops front and back. The board is not too wide. If you use the middle loop you have the board well under control from the inclination in the roll axis. The whole weighs together 4.5 kilograms. Last year we tested the similar comparable shape, but there were less options available. We don't have a rail system, which doesn't work because of the thickness, because no classic fin boxes can be attached. The tail area is reinforced and we have different holes here. 3 different options are available to adjust the mast trim to the loop position. On the upper side of the loop position there are also 3 possibilities to change the position here. It would be nice if there was a hole exactly between the back and second position, then it would be 100% perfect. Let's get to the mast before I introduce you to the new wing. We tested the whole thing with a 75 aluminium mast with a well-known profile. It is a very thin aluminium, but the mast is still stiff, so it has a good torsional strength. Overall the stiffness is good. One notices a small influence in certain speed ranges, which we will come to later. Compared to carbon masts, the weight of the aluminium mast is very good. We are here including the mounting screws at 1.27 kilograms. We also have this beautiful new Orca wing, which has a wingspan of 63.5 and is mounted on an 80 fuselage with a new carbon rear wing. This one is equipped with winglets, so the tips are slightly bent upwards. That's why we don't have the stabilizing fin for the yaw axis anymore, which was otherwise attached to the underside. With this model this is no longer necessary. All this is very clean, laminated with carbon fiber and very pretty. Everything together is very light and weighs 1.62 kilograms including the mounting screws. The shape reminds a little of the Slingshot GW633 from Wing. But there is a difference. We have more momentum in the curvature of the swing and a larger profile thickness. So here the similarities only exist in the outline, so we cannot assume that it is a copy. The rear wing is also kept clean on its own. The good stuff now looks similar. The whole thing is always mounted with Allen screws. Nevertheless, we still don't have 100% identical screws and wrenches. We need 2 different Allen sizes for the assembly, that is to be overcome. During the assembly I can only say that here was worked very precisely. Nothing canted and everything sits in the right place. That's really well done. A special feature, you can see it on the fuselage, is that the front wing is a little bit higher. This should clearly lead to the fact that the drag from the front wing does not hit the rear wing in a straight line, because otherwise it would be influenced by the current. In addition, we come later with the driving characteristics and achievements. That's a good thing. All in all, we find the finest carbon fiber processing. The total price is less than €1,000, which is an excellent price-performance ratio in comparison to the processing quality and the weights. Again, briefly to the mast length, 75er length was not supplied in addition. The whole thing should be the entry-level wing for low speeds. It should be as easy as possible to get on board. In recent years, it has been shown that mast lengths between 60 and 75 to 80 are the optimum measure. You can also start with a 40 mast or smaller, but then you will find out that it is enough for the first few meters, but then you feel the lift of the hydrofoil, but then it is better to choose a longer wing, because then you have a greater clearance for the pitch axis, the up and down, and the board does not immediately touch the water surface again. Otherwise this causes too much restlessness. We don't want that. That's why the mast length here is wonderfully successful. The recommendation for this front wing, up to 90 centimeters. The whole thing fits wonderfully for those who drive the filmed maneuver, are more in an inclined position, or use the wing in a light wave. The 90 mast is simply better, because you don't have so fast water contact on the surface. Otherwise, the 75 mast length is top as an all-round measure. The lift of the Orca wing is comparable to the best in its class, the next generation foils. It climbs very fast directly over the wing, but also the surface of the board is sufficient to support the whole thing in a light forward push. It is noticeable that the front wing provides as much lift as the board, so that the mast is always parallel to the water surface, which makes the strato start absolutely easier. You get used to the start and the foot straps after a while. Also, in the width of the speed range, the Orca foil lies in the consistently good average. Here we reach peaks of up to 30 km per hour on a slightly rough course, the whole with a medium to light kite train at 12 square meters. The current at the wing remains constant and very clean. Even in the lowest speed ranges we don't have any influence on the foil. This is a very pleasant ride even in the lowest speed range. The wing almost sets the benchmark here. Even slower with tight radii you can't foil with almost any other wing. The stability of the roll and pitch axis is excellent. This may also be due to the slightly longer fuselage and of course to the clean profile, the well-matching profile of front and rear wing. Here it is really made very easy for the beginner. We have in the area of the yaw axis in the point of directional stability a very slight vibration, partly on faster curves, half-wind and slightly rough course, noticeable but only in a very small speed range and rather negligible. All in all, this is really a prime example of axle stability. The Orca foil's turning pleasure also gives us the highest variability from very tight radii at low speed to faster long curves, offering absolute control and easy handling. The combination of front and rear swing keeps the speed, especially in turns. Even if the kite pull is very low, the Orca stays on speed well.
You're listening to the Anjuna Deep Edition.
When jumping down you need more and more active movements in comparison, especially for these big wings, because the speed of the jump isn't that high either. What is decisive here is that it has very good control during the landing. Here this carbon board variant also helps quite well, because it has enough area not to dive down and to stabilize the whole thing quickly again, regardless of the fact that the wing immediately rebuilds its current after landing. Now the question arises, where the disadvantages within this combination. A small thing is the use of the kite in the inland area with boards without volume. If the kite lies in the water for a while and the board has so little current speed that one cannot start, if you then sit on the board, then it is easier to cool down during longer stays underwater, especially in winter. A board with volume is a bit better. That in the tests we are also tempted to look for the mistake with a selling price for an entire foil including board under €1,000 easier times, but we did not find any real mistake here. We have RL ORCA wing with a rear wing, which can easily cost twice as much in comparison to all other competitors on the market and still does not perform worse, but is on the same high level, if not even a little bit better in some areas of curve radii and speed keeping. Even if the board is laminated with carbon fibers on the surfaces, we have an overall simple construction, but in view of the price it can only be said here that for this money you cannot buy the individual accessories you need to build a board. All in all, I can say that not only the price-conscious foiler in the entry-level or advanced range has made me happy, but also the one who is looking for a high-quality product in every weight class. RL is known from the cheap bidirectional range. This is where the company has made a name for itself over many years. The company has cleverly teamed up with an engineer from the ultralight flight sector who is responsible for the development of the wings and the finish. And that's something you can see very well, that there is a professional at work here. Also the step between the two wing heights, so that you don't get a drag on the rear wing anymore, can be felt, and so such a cooperation results in an excellent sports equipment at a phenomenally favorable price.